So this week I have been particularly focusing on the power of words. I don't know if you've read any of my socials, but basically this is the message that I've been putting out this week is that words are incredibly powerful, and I think sometimes we forget how powerful our words are. So we have within our power, and most of us I don't think really appreciate this, but we have in our power the ability to leave somebody feeling valued and motivated and listened to and cared about when we have conversations with people, or we can leave them feeling demotivated, devalued. And I'm just going to explain a little bit more about that. See, I believe that most of our conversations are unconscious, and by that I mean we don't really think about what we're saying, and the words kind of just come out. You know, those conversations. If I asked you tonight to think about all the conversations that you've had today, you probably wouldn't be able to remember them, you know, from the emails, the social media posts, the messages, Snapchat, WhatsApp, whatever your preference is, or even those face-to-face conversations or telephone conversations. You probably won't be able to remember them. And it's only when something happens that we start to reflect on the conversation. And it's generally when the conversation hasn't gone particularly well, when perhaps we've been challenged, our beliefs have been challenged, or we feel that we have been challenged. And then that sets us thinking, and our emotional brain takes over and can cause us to become anxious about the conversation that we've had, or become anxious about a conversation that we're about to have. But what we forget is in every single conversation, I believe there's an opportunity, but you have to be present for the opportunity to occur. So the opportunity might not be for you, the opportunity might be for somebody else. It might be that they just need to be listened to. It might be that you're the only person that they've spoken to that day. It might be that they just need an offload for some reason. It might be that there's something troubling them that they haven't been able to share with anybody else. Whatever that might be, when you are fully present with somebody and able to be in the moment and listen to them, you give them the opportunity to feel valued and motivated and heard. And most of us, believe it or not, just want to be heard. I'm sure you can relate to that. I know I certainly can. When you don't feel listened to, when you want to say something, when you've got an opinion, or you just want somebody to hear about how you're feeling. Or we can do the opposite. We can do the opposite. We can talk over people. We can be blunt with people. We can be rude to people and not perhaps even realise that we're being rude. Because in our minds, we might not be intending to be rude, but for some reason, the message that we're giving is being perceived by the other person as being rude. Now, it could be that actually you haven't really thought about that. So some of the words and the language that you use, people might find offensive. And you might be one of those people who go, well, that's not about me. That's about the other person. Well, it is about you, because what it shows is that you haven't thought about the world from the other person's perspective. And you've made that about you. Whether you believe you're right or not, that is a belief. And I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just asking you to think about it. I'm just challenging you a little bit around the way that perhaps you personally use language. I know sometimes that I have to stop myself from saying things, and I just because my default position has been to say, sir, mate, love. Not that I've ever called anybody love or mate actually, but sir or madam are my normal defaults from being in policing. So you might have a natural default that you go to, or you might not think, or you might refer to people. And I hear this quite a lot. I hear this sentence, those people, those people. And I'm like, what does those people mean? Because if I was somebody, because you might be referring to me because I'm gay, so I'm slightly different. So you might well be referring to me, those people. And to start with, I might feel a little bit affronted by that. Now, you might not mean any offence, but it doesn't mean that offence hasn't been caused. And we've heard a lot. This isn't a political broadcast, by the way, but we've heard, particularly from influencers in the world over the last few weeks, who have used very powerful language to get their message across, and it has caused friction. Now, some of you will say, well, no, the words didn't actually cause any hate. I would probably disagree with you, but it doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just that I have an opinion on it. But words are really powerful. And I think it's been an important lesson over the last few weeks is to think about the words that we use and think about how we talk about people. You know, we can really dehumanize people without even perhaps meaning to, just by being a bit thoughtless, not being careful with our words, because they're incredibly powerful. And if you think about the changes that have happened in the world, they've all come about from somebody standing up and saying, I've had enough of this. This isn't right. This is what I believe. And that's how we create change. You know, the suffragettes did it for women getting the vote. Martin Luther King did it. Gandhi did it. All of those famous people, Hitler did it. You know, those people that were able to lead other people just use the power of words and coercion in some cases. So words are powerful. So that's my message at the moment, is to, you know, we talk about communication being a soft skill. It really isn't a soft skill. It's a life-changing and a life-saving skill. And we take it for granted, and I include myself in that. And yet we have the power every single day to make a difference in the world. And the choice of the difference that we make is entirely up to us. So they're your words. Choose them wisely. Have a great week. If I can help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. Other than that, I shall leave you with that on a Monday evening, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week.